Hi guys. So I was busy getting ready. I'm going to my friend today for little cocktails and some food and spending some time with some good friends. And I was doing my makeup today and I thought maybe I should do a video or a series of videos on products that I would buy again, and then maybe also later on products that I wouldn't buy again. So as a beginner, it's really overwhelming. Last year I started thinking about getting into makeup. Last year this time I was still learning, and there's obviously a lot of stuff out there, some of them higher end than others, some of them drugstore, and there's a few things that I bought because I'm quite a shopper. I like to shop. I like things, a bit of a magpie. So there are a few things that I bought that I would not buy again, and I will share those with you. But there are also a lot of things that I bought that I would definitely buy again. So I thought I'd take you through a few of these. This is by no means an exhaustive list, not even close. But I thought we could do a series of these, and as I come along stuff that I like, you know, we could chat a little bit about the stuff that I would buy again and why. So let me get into the first of it. The first is primer. I know a lot of people don't prime, and that's fine. I need to prime. I've got really big pores, and my skin, I'm on retin-A treatment. I have PCOS, so my skin is quite sensitive and it breaks out quite a lot. So my retin-A makes my skin super dry. It also makes my pores a bit, it just makes my skin a mess. So this primer is the Smashbox. It is the Photo Finish foundation primer. It is the hydrating version. So the retin-A treatment that I take makes my skin very dry, so having hydration really helps. You can see I've used a lot of this. This is sort of a Smashbox primers are sort of cult classics, and they're cult favorites, and I can see why. So the trick is with this one is to smooth it on before you put on your foundation, and I usually put it on also before I color correct, and then leave it for a little bit, maybe for 5 minutes, so that it can sink in and do its job. If you put on product afterwards, straight after you've put on your primer, it can cause a sort of pilling effect. It's not attractive. So use this. It works for me. It works really well. It makes like a really like a canvas. It makes my skin a little bit more flawless, a little bit more smooth for the foundation to go on. So I would highly recommend this. I've actually got a spare sitting in my bag because I really like it and I got it on sale. Speaking of foundation, something that I know gets rave reviews everywhere, and it's completely obvious why, is this Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. And apparently it's been tested in 7 different lighting conditions, and this is my go-to foundation. So I use this all the time. It doesn't smell so great. It smells a bit like paint. So if you're sensitive to smell, just watch out for it, but you get used to it over a while. It's got like a, I'll show you, it's so dirty. It's got like a, can you see that? It's got like a spatula, which I didn't like at first, but it's growing on me. This is apparently a dupe for the Givenchy foundations. I wouldn't know because I don't have one, maybe one day. I use this in the shade Toffee, but I also use the shade Caramel, just depending on what my skin is looking like. Sometimes I'll mix the two together to get closer to my actual skin shade, but this is amazing. Like in flash photography, it's really good, and it's really affordable. I think I picked these up on a Click special for 79 Rand, and I mean that is unbelievably reasonable. What I like about Wet n Wild is that they are vegan. I'm not sure about the cruelty-free thing. I know there was a bit of a controversy regarding them actually being cruelty-free, so I'll do a little bit more research on the cruelty-free aspect of Wet n Wild and get back to you on that. But at the time that I bought this was supposedly cruelty-free, which is really cool. It goes on like a dream. It's very buildable. I don't like too much coverage, but I also don't want too sheer of coverage. I sometimes like my little freckles to show out, and then other times I don't. So you can build it up to a full coverage, or it can be a medium coverage. So that is a must-have. Another product from Wet n Wild that they've been knocking it out the park is their concealer. I know that a lot of people, you know, are a bit funny about concealers. This is also the Photo Focus concealer. Not a lot of people like this. I really like it. I use a little egg shaped sponge blender, and I pat it in, and it gives me incredible coverage. I've got severe dark circles. You can see one eye is a bit smaller than the other. I have a syndrome called Horner syndrome, where this eye is lazy. It's also more sunken, so it has quite a bit of a dark circle, and it gets red. So I need hectic coverage there, and this one does it fantastically. It blends out smoothly with not a lot of creasing. I find things like the Revolution concealer, which I know is a dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape, that creases under me crazily. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. If anyone knows what I'm doing wrong, please help me. That would be great. But this one does not crease all that much. This is the shade Tawny, medium tawny. So it's quite light. But I use my concealer for brightening, so I always go a shade or two lighter than my foundation, because I like to brighten it, and also because of that sunken eye that I told you about. So this is a must-have, and this I got for 69 Rand, which, I mean, it's ridiculously reasonable. So if you go through it quickly, or you want one for traveling, this is a really, really good one. I would highly recommend it. Something else. Wow, guys, it's Wet n Wild again. So this is the Wet n Wild contouring palette, and you can see I have hit pan in both shades. So this was the first contouring palette that I bought when I'm still learning what contouring is. I'm still learning what contouring is and how to do it properly. But this, wow, guys, this is amazing. This is the shade Dulce de Leche, which I don't know what that is. I'm guessing it's some kind of dessert. It sounds like a dessert. So you can see it has a banana powder, which you can use for highlighting, but also setting under the eye, and then a cool toned contour powder for your cheekbones, your temples, and your jawline. This is really nice. It's very, very finely milled. It's very soft, and it's highly blendable. So you can, I sometimes put this on with a wet sponge, or sometimes with a bronzer brush, depending on the effect I want to create and how sharp a contour I want to create. It's really something I would definitely buy again. I know Tati says that it is a dupe for the Marc Jacobs. It's a similar looking palette. I don't know, I don't have the Marc Jacobs one, but she swears by this. So this is a really, really nice palette to have in your collection, especially if you are learning to contour. They've also got a little guide at the back, and that's what I followed when you are learning how to contour and where to put the different shades. This banana powder, it's more for highlighting powder for me. I don't use it so much under my eyes. I use it more under the contour line here, and that adds a sort of brightening effect. And sometimes I'll use it on my nose. As you know, I've had nose surgery, so I can't put much pressure on yet. It's 5 weeks today, but from next week I can start gently putting foundation on and also contouring my nose. So that was that. Speaking of setting powder, this is the Yardley Absolute translucent powder. It's a loose powder. This is also available at the drugstore. Yardley's been around forever. I think my mother used it. I think even our grandmothers used it. I don't know how old it is. But the problem with setting powder and baking is that, you know, sometimes because I use quite a lot because I really want that stuff baked. But in photographs and in different lighting, you can look a bit ghosty, and it can create intense flashback, especially if you're darker skinned. On fairer skins, setting powders are not really an issue, but if you're darker skinned, it can be a problem. And this one I found works really, really well in terms of not giving you flashback. It's very soft, it's very finely milled. You just pack it under your eye when you're setting. I also put it on my nose sometimes to set the highlights. You can also use it under your contour if you're not using this palette, if it doesn't have a banana powder in. And I find that it doesn't crease. It stops it from creasing. It bakes really nicely. I don't get that much flashback. I don't look too ghosty or too ashy, I hope. What's really nice about it as well is that a little goes a long way. So if you are going to use this and you are baking with it under your eyes, don't use a lot. Rather just build it up. But as you go, build it up. In my sunken eye, I have to use quite a lot because that circle is very prominent. But if you use too much, and again with the concealer as well, if you bake too much, or if you put too much concealer on, it actually has the opposite effect and it creases. So that's not a good look. But this is great. It's also, I got this from Dischem. I think I paid $160 for it, which is on the pricier end of drugstore stuff, I guess, if you compare it to Wet n Wild. But it's still really affordable. And like I said, I've had this now for a year, and it's super, super full still. And I use it. Like, I'm not afraid to use it. Sometimes you'll get them on specials at Clicks as well. I think I picked up another one for, I think it was 99 Rand, which I thought was really good. So this is definitely a must-have. We don't get the Coty S-Spun here in South Africa. You can order it from Amazon. I do have it in my cart, but I'm contemplating, you know, do I buy it? Is it? So I might buy it. If you want to see me review the Coty S-Spun, let me know and I will pick it up and I will check out that cart at Amazon. But for now, this is a really, really good setting powder and a baking powder. Lipstick. So, unpopular opinion, I really love black lipstick. Black lipstick's my thing. I know it doesn't look like it right now because I'm pink as fuck. But I'm heavy into a black lip, and it can be really hard to find a black lip that provides enough coverage and that isn't super drying. And I found one from MAC. Look how dirty it is. Sorry, guys. This is the shade Caviar. I should not think about that too much because it grosses me out. And this is the Retro Matte Liquid Lip Color. So it is a liquid lip and it dries down pretty fast. You can see it's got this kind of applicator, but guys, this is amazing. If you want a solid black lip, this is the one you go to. It is really worth the money that you outlay, because MAC is slightly more expensive. Well, it's actually a lot more expensive than drugstore stuff, but this is really a black lip I would recommend. I just need to find a black liner now. So if anyone has any suggestions, please let me know. I don't know if you can put eyeliner on. What do you do with black lip liner? I don't know. Let me know. So this is a must-have. I would totally buy this again, and it's not drying. So a good idea is to prime your lips beforehand. I usually use Eucerin Aquaphor as a lip balm. I put that on beforehand and I let it settle, preferably overnight or maybe an hour before, and then it's a nice base for this. But it isn't super drying as liquid lips can be and as dark liquid lips can be. So this, you guys should totally do this. Then in terms of setting spray, this is not a very popular product, but I love it. This is the Rimmel Insta Fix and Go. So this is a 2-in-1. It is a primer and setting spray, and I think it works really well for both. If you are using it as a primer, you just squirt some on and you pat it into your face. Don't rub, but pat. And you leave it again like the Smashbox for a minute or two, and then you can put on your foundation and start your makeup. As a setting spray, this is amazing. I know people don't like it. I don't know why. But for me, it works fantastically. I've used other setting sprays that are not as good and that leave me quite oily afterwards. This doesn't do that. This leaves me as matte and as flawless as when I walked out, and I've gotten a good 8 hours wear out of this. So this is also a drugstore find. It's Rimmel. I would highly recommend this, and again, it's dual purpose. So if you are traveling or you don't want a very big makeup kit, this is a really nice option, because for me it works really well as both. Something else, and you're going to have to forgive how dirty it is, but it's very well loved, is this MAC. It's a mineralized water, mineralized charged water. It's a skin hydrating mist. Mine's broken, it fell. This is, you can use it as a setting spray. It doesn't work for me as that. You can also use it to sort of prime your skin before, and it doesn't work for me for that. Where I like to use it is at, oh hello Pebbles, I have a cat called Pebbles, he's visiting. Ooh, he got a fright. So where I like to use this is as soon as my makeup is done and before my setting spray. I spray some all over, and it sort of melts the makeup in, if that makes sense. It helps it blend nicely together. I let that dry for a bit, and then no Pebby. Say hi to everyone, Pebby. He doesn't want to say hi. So it helps your makeup blend in really nicely together. It creates also a flawless finish. I let that dry, and then I put on the setting spray. So this, I have a funny feeling it's discontinued, so I don't know what I'll do if that happens, but luckily I've still got quite a lot, and a little goes a long way. It's just my nozzle is broken, so it doesn't spray that great. And then last but not least, you can see this is incredibly well loved. It is my Garnier Micellar, how do you say it? Micellar Water, and this is a cleansing water which I use to, I use to remove my makeup. This is the pink topped one. I have recently purchased the yellow topped one, and I'll let you know how that one works when this is finished. But this is amazing, guys. I put this on some cotton wool. I don't like using face wipes because I find them quite abrasive, and I have to use a lot to get my makeup off. So I will soak a cotton ball in this and remove my makeup. It requires a little bit, and when I'm getting to my eyes, I will soak it and then press it against my eye and leave it for a bit, and then wipe off the remainder. So it's kind of soaking the eye makeup off, especially like today when I've got concealer and primer under my eye to create this look. Then it requires quite a bit. I think the yellow topped one would be better for removing eye makeup because it's got oil in it, but I'll let you know how that goes. This, guys, this is so worth it. This is amazing. So this has no perfume, so it's got no real scent. It's very gentle on your skin. Because I'm on that retin-A treatment that I mentioned, my skin is super sensitive, but this works really well. It claims to get 200 uses out of a bottle. I don't know how many uses I've got, but it's a lot. So it's really value for money. I also got this from Woolworths for about 89 Rand, 90 Rand. Definitely worth it. Sometimes if your makeup's very heavy, I always shower after I've had makeup on. It just makes me feel better, and I wash my face, and then I carry on with my regular skincare routine. But this is really nice to get the bulk of it off, and it's definitely an option if you're really tired and you're coming home and you want to go to sleep without taking off your makeup. You can just put some on a cotton bud. It's like 5 minutes of your life, and it takes the stuff right off. So that's all the stuff I wanted to talk about today, about what I would repurchase and why. I have loads more stuff, but then this video will be like 4 hours long. So this is what I've done so far. Let me know what you think, and I will definitely be doing more of this, and I'll also be doing products that I won't be purchasing again. Have a great day, and I'm gonna go out and get my sparkling wine on with my buddies. I can't wait, and I'll chat to you soon. Bye.